2, 1. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us for another Talk About It Tuesday. I am here with the amazing, hilarious, and book righty Stephen Rafferty.
Sounds about right.
Here on Talk About It Tuesday, we talk about all things the arts and the people who love them. So I'm your host, Alexandra, once again, for this glorious Taco of Tuesdays. Stephen is a person that we went to college with, a person that we became friends with, and I would like for you to just say a little bit about yourself.
Well, first off, Alex, thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of Talk About It Tuesday. I'm really excited to be here. For those who do not know who I am, my name is Stephen Rafferty, and the best way to describe myself is that I am an entertainer, but I'm also a multimedia specialist. So I do a lot of the front end where I'm doing acting and being on camera. I'm mainly in the television industry, but I'm also doing a lot of digital media and also online. I started as a YouTuber way back then, eons ago, a long time ago. So I started doing that through YouTube, but then I also do behind the scenes work where I do a lot of video production, photography, editing, graphic design, and also marketing for clients and businesses across South Florida is where my main hub is, but also across the US and internationally. So man of many trades.
So many things.
I like to say I'm just a guy who does things.
I'm just a person who does things. Yeah, isn't that how it is though? The second you step into the arts, it's like, yeah, we do a little bit of that and that and that and that and that. You know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think you have to be like, you have your wheelhouse and your specialty, and you have the areas where you're really passionate and that's what you love doing, but you kind of have to go into other aspects and, learn from those areas and also appreciate why individuals do what they do. So especially in the arts.
How did you get involved into this grand scheme of things?
Eons ago, I will say that again, eons ago. I am a little bit older. I've been in those industries for 11 years, and I started back in 2010. Entertainment, specifically stand-up comedy, because that's where my roots came from, was my third choice. What I originally wanted to be when I grew up to be an adult is I wanted to do two things. I wanted to be a programmer, a computer programmer, specifically for video games, and also designing and programming those games and working in those industries. And I also wanted to be on the other side as a professional wrestler, which I've been able to do both of those things in different parts of my life, which is crazy in itself. But back then, I was trying those different avenues, and I started with the computer programming, making those video games in the early years. In 2010, I was a part of a development group called Abysmal Essence. And Abysmal Essence was a computer programming group designed by two individuals, Beej and Scott. And those two individuals went on to work on some various projects, mainly in the mobile device and also in mobile computer games, such as Robot Unicorn Attack for Adult Swim games. They worked out of Georgia. They actually went to the same high school I went to at the time. And at the time, they were looking for individuals that wanted to join their team. And I was like, okay, I'm in high school. People are trying to figure out their lives, or they're doing their own things, and they're not really thinking about their future. I wanted to be where I wanted to think ahead and be like, okay, soon I'm going to be out of high school. I'm going to go into college. I'm going to be doing stuff. I got to figure out what I want to do next. So I had my first of many midlife crises at a very young age. And I decided, okay, let me go and join with them and let me learn how to do computer programming. I learned over time that I absolutely hated it. I hated everything about it. I didn't like programming. I didn't like the design of it. It was so much of a technical process, and it's so minute with everything that they do to make sure everything works properly. And it just wasn't for me at the end of the day. So I quietly left, and the group, they disbanded and they did their own, separate projects. And I realized, okay, scratch that idea. I'm not doing the wrestling thing. That's not happening. What's the next best thing? At the time, YouTube was just developing. This was like maybe 4 or 5 years into the service. Now it's over, I think, 15 years old. And at the time, it was very young. So I said, okay, I'm looking at people doing these YouTube videos, and they're, you know, creating these forms of content, and they're doing sketches and doing these comedic pieces. And, you know, I said, okay, I don't know if comedy is where I want to go necessarily, but I was watching a lot of talk show hosts that were getting onto that platform, and they were still doing traditional television, traditional media. And one of the hosts that I watched a lot was Conan O'Brien. I used to watch him every night originally on, you know, NBC. And then when he did the merger with TBS to do his own show, I was watching him every night, staying up late. When my parents would come home late from work, I would join with them and we would watch the episodes together. And with YouTube emerging, I was like, okay, this is like an internet talk show type thing. Maybe I can make my own version of that. So I started making YouTube videos, and I got a little camera. I made the worst possible set of YouTube videos possible. Didn't know anything about video editing, anything about doing slating or timing or anything about writing jokes or anything like that. I just started to put myself out there, have a camera, and started just recording stuff. That's how it became to be. And now we're here 11 years later.
I mean, that's how it starts, isn't it? It's kind of just like, hey, get up in front of your family and do a show, or just start the camera, and then kind of tumbles down from there normally. And you had done stand-up.
Yes.
And how did you feel during that period of your life, you know, like writing the jokes, going on stage? How was it as a person going into it, especially not doing it originally? How was it going into stand-up?
It was very nerve-wracking to start in the initial stages. So I didn't start doing traditional stand-up until a year after I started making, you know, my set of YouTube videos. I was making videos about once or twice a week, you know, typically. And I didn't know if it was going to be something full-time. I was still doing school at the time. But how doing traditional stand-up came to be was that I was at a carnival for one of the schools that I went to, and they had a big festival during one of the weekends, and they had a set for local talent. And there was a gentleman who was doing like his own little like set of talents, little shows and everything. And he had a group. He had a parody rock band that No Called No Show. And yeah, so they No Called No Show, and the guy went into the crowd and was looking for individuals that can help fill up the gap. And he did a public call, and he said, is anybody here can do like a 5 to 10 minute little set piece? And with me, with no experience, said, I can do that. I can do this. Yes, I'm good at this. Yes, sir. I can do the stand-up. I can do the jokes. I am a comedian. And he's like, do you have any qualifications? None whatsoever. And he's like, well, I need time to kill. So here you go. I had 10 minutes to come up with a 5 to 10 minute set piece of jokes and just ideas I had in my head. And you can find it on YouTube, the original footage. It's there, and it's been referenced through my projects over the years. It's something. We all had to start somewhere. Let's put it that way.
How do you find your place in the world at different points in your life? It's like, oh, well, anyone out there? It's like me. This is my calling, you know. Now, you also wrote things. So yes. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that? That's super exciting.
Thank you. I am a not one, not two, but a 3-time author. I have written 3 successful comedy books. My first book was entitled 50 Ridiculous Drawings and Funny Sayings in Less Than 50 Pages. It's exactly what the title says. That book came about as a class project in college. As you mentioned earlier, we both went to the same school together. You and your sister, Angelica, we went to the same school together. And one of the classes that I had in communication studies was to create a project for the mass media. And, I was already doing YouTubing and doing some entertainment stuff. This was like slightly before the world record happened, but when that at the same time happened, the professor at the time said, create a project. And I said, you know what? I always wanted to write a book. Let me see how hard it is to write a book. And that's how the first one came to be.
Right. Let's just try it,
Yeah, let's just try and see what happens. And I learned it took time. It took about 9 months to develop that particular book. And through the power of the internet and technology, you're able to self-publish. And that's what I was able to do through a company called Lulu.com. And that's how 50 Ridiculous Drawings and Funny Sayings in Less Than 50 Pages came to be. That was the first book. And did Alex? Hello, everyone. I'm going to take this moment to say hi. Thank you for watching Talk About It Tuesday. We may have some technical difficulties, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm here to enlighten and also to help you all, and just to tell you that I hope you're having a great day. Hello? So the second book was entitled Young Face Stories and Other Awkward Tales, which was a collection of stories and conversations where people have mistaken me for looking younger than my actual age. And it's very interesting to see how individuals see people and see their perceptions, and they think of you at a certain age or a certain look or whatever. And it's just funny stories and quips about that, along with other short stories that include with it. And then my latest book, which is entitled Mini, a Book of Short Thoughts, is literally a stand-up performance in a book form. It is literally quick whips. It is quick whips. Yeah, quips, quick clips. Quips, short one-liners, and just short little stories to encapsulate as if you're doing a actual stand-up performance in book form. It's really funny, and it came out 2 years ago in 2019.
Nice. Awesome. Yes, and you can find these things on the interwebs.
Yes, in the World Wide Web.
The World Wide Web, and also linked down below. So I want to ask, how does comedy make you feel? What is the feeling with it?
Comedy makes me feel amazing, and what I mean by amazing, it just makes me feel confident, and it allows me to kind of get out of my shell a bit. I like to say that I'm a very introverted, extroverted person. When I'm on camera and when I'm doing performances, I'm very imaginative, I'm very out there, I'm very wacky, zany. I show a lot of my own personality traits through my performances, and it really allows me to grow and develop from a comedic standpoint, but also from an acting, from an improv, and from a theater standpoint as well. There's no feeling like it when you're on stage to begin with, but there's no greater feeling when you're doing stand-up. Like, it's an amazing feeling, and when you get the audience hooked on with your stories and your jokes, then there's no other real feeling about it. It's just it's wonderful.
Now I have to ask you, because it is Taco Tuesday.
Yes.
So what is your preferred taco build? Everyone's got their own preference. So what's yours?
Okay. Well, I thought long and hard about that question. It made me think about it. It made me ponder and question my own existence here on this life. And you ask your guests all the time that question, since it's Talk About It Tuesday. But I wanted to one up this. I wanted to show you what type of taco that I get. So this is for you. Sorry, Angelica, but this is for you, Alex. I'll get it for you. There you go. Just for you. It is. I'm a simple man when it comes to my tacos. I'm a chicken guy. I like my beef and steak, but I like my chicken. Lettuce, tomato, cheese on it. Pretty standard. I like to have a little sauce with it, but I wanted to keep it clean, since we're on an interview. But it happens. And I also like my refried beans with my taco. So that's my standard there. So yeah, that's what I usually get for tacos in general. And who doesn't love tacos?
Yeah, who doesn't love tacos?
Yes. And, I got a plate for you, and I don't know how this is gonna work. I guess I'll try to ship it to you, or I'll try to send it through the camera.
I'll just figure out how to magically just get it here. Maybe we'll make a portal or something.
It's buffering. There's weather right now. It's just gonna take a little bit of time.
That's awesome. Nice. And are you like a soft shell person or hard shell, or do you care?
I prefer soft because it's more of a cushion, but I don't mind a hard taco if it's done right. I like all kinds of tacos.
I've gotten that before, the cushion. It's like people like the soft shell because it's like a cushion. I have another question that you're probably already gonna know like right away how to answer this, because you have an entire book on it.
I hope so.
But what can't I tell just by looking at you?
No, you thought I was going to answer that really quickly, but no, now I have to think and ponder here. I'm someone that's an avid football player, and also someone that really likes football. I'm a sports guy as well. Even though I'm a comedic type person, like I love watching football, baseball, I love watching football, European football, not soccer, um, I also like watching hockey. I like going to hockey games and watching that live. Panthers guy, even though the Panthers is Panthers, but I love them.
They're doing really well this season.
They have, so I'm excited about that. Me and a few of my friends, we used to go to BBT Center, which is down here, and we used to go to the live games. Same thing with the Hard Rock, with the Dolphins, and also with the Marlins. So that's always fun. So that's something
cool.
A lot of people won't really notice with me. I'm an avid sports guy.
If you could talk to someone who has not experienced theater, arts, comedy, or anything like that personally, what would you say to someone who might be interested in it? Like a little PSA for them.
I would tell them to try and see if it's right for you. I would say if you haven't tried it at all and you're thinking about it, you should definitely just do it, and I know it sounds really generic, but like it really is going in and trying and seeing what works and what may not work for you. You won't know unless you try. And like, I'll take myself for example. I wouldn't consider myself a very talented individual. I wouldn't necessarily consider myself a great actor or a great comedian or a great improvist or thespian or whatever you would like to call it, but I'm someone that came in, was interested in those fields, and I gave it a try. And over time, through hard work and doing the best that I can and making connections and networking and do what I can, I was able to, in the course of 10 plus years, I was able to do multiple YouTube videos, multiple YouTube series, broke a Guinness World Record for the most straws in my hair at one time years ago, did that, wrote 3 books, made a bunch of connections with celebrities, media personnel, actors, actresses, theater people, the fact that I was able to do that in that period of time, just by trying and just being interested in it, shows that you can do the same thing, and it may lead to a bunch of different paths that you would never even expect or even do.
Right.
So just try and see what happens.
Yeah, I totally agree. Just try it. It's like food. You just got to try a little nibble, see if you like it. If not, you try a different food. It's okay. It's okay. All food.
And it's the same thing. If you don't like it for whatever reason, at least you made that decision, and you realize that it wasn't for you, but maybe you can pivot to something else that you do like.
Yeah, so, no regrets. Don't regret not trying something just because you're afraid. We're all afraid to go up there for the first time. So like, we know how you feel. We're all afraid to show someone our sketches for the first time, or maybe like a bracelet or a necklace that we made that we're really proud of, but yeah, just like the experience, that first experience, you don't really forget it, no matter how young or old you are. It's like, it sticks with you, and you're like, oh, that's why I love doing what I do. You have a show. So this is the self-promotion portion of Talk About It Tuesday. So Steven, talk a little bit about the hat.
Yes. Okay. So I have some news for you all. I have an interview show called These Are Questions. These Are Questions is the interview show where I ask people questions about things, life, and such not. Basically, I've asked individuals in their respective careers, and I talk about their career, their aspirations, their dreams, their goals, while mixing in a mixture of questions that are absurd and idiotic and, well, randomly stupid, that are mainly unannounced to the guest. And as an announcement, Alex and Angelica, both Zadak sisters, were featured on These Are Questions, specifically for These Are Questions Season 2. So yeah, make some noise. Yes.
Yes, it was really fun. That show was really fun to do the interview with. There was a portion where, we were doing some like technical switches, and Angelica and I just kind of like, played for a bit, and we can't stop. So that was our gift for you.
It was, and some say it was a very unicorn-esque delight with that gift.
What?
You didn't hear it from me.
Didn't hear it from anyone here. But 100%, please go and check out Steven's show. And Steven, how else can people keep up with your artistic journey?
if you want to reach me out, the best place to reach me out is through my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Stephen Rafferty, and also my website, srafferty.com. That website highlights all the projects, collaborations, and features that I've done over the past 11 years. So that's like the number one destination hub to see everything that I've done throughout the years. So if you're interested in any of my projects, go over there. In terms of current projects, These Are Questions Seasons 2 is airing / running. I don't know when this interview will come out, but at the time, it's running. So for the record, so that's involved. And like I said, check out the Zadak Sisters episode along with all the other feature episodes as well. And the last thing is that my current project that I'm working on, hopefully set for end of 2021 into 2022 possibly, is my upcoming card game. So be on the lookout for that.
Fun. Yes, you're always doing something. It's awesome.
Like I said, guy who does things.
Yes. Gotta keep going. So you can find everything that Stephen talked about linked down below in the description. Stephen, I want to thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Talk About It Tuesday. This was awesome.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you so much for allowing me to ramble and talk about stuff for minutes on end.
I mean, you let us ramble with you, so it was like even Steven it out, you know. If you would like to take any improv classes, so improv for teens, kids, adults, or sketch writing classes, corporate team building, or improv for life, you can again sign up today at www.thisisimprov.com. Please make sure to also try and go on Spotify and look for This Is Legends of Yesterday, where we talk about histories, mysteries, and ghost stories of Florida. Yes, specifically Florida, because you know how weird Florida is. You can listen to that on Spotify and Apple Podcasts with me and Angelica, your host. If you have a story that you would like us to tell, you can hear it on the podcast. Just email us at one of the links linked down below. I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful, and glorious rest of your Tuesday. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that bell notification so you can stay updated on all things This Is Improv. Eat some tacos, my friends. Hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.